Now to some big breaking news in the last hour. US basketball star Brittney Griner has been freed in a prisoner swap for notorious Russian arms dealer Viktor Bout. Griner had been imprisoned in Russia after being convicted in August and sentenced to 9 years in prison. Griner was detained in February when customs agents said they found vape canisters containing cannabis oil in her luggage at Moscow's Sheremetyevo airport. She has spent 294 days in Russian captivity. US President Joe Biden says the WNBA star is safe and is on her way home. Well, the swap with Viktor Bout, known as the Merchant of Death, took place at Abu Dhabi airport. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison in 2012 after being found guilty of conspiracy to kill Americans and US officials, delivering anti-aircraft missiles and aiding a terrorist organization.
This is a day we've worked toward for a long time. We never stopped pushing for her release. It took painstaking and intense negotiations, and I want to thank all the hard-working public servants across my administration who worked tirelessly to secure her release. I also want to thank the UAE for helping us facilitate Brittney's return, because that's where she landed. These past few months have been hell for Brittney and for Charlie and her entire family and all her teammates back home. People all across the country have learned about Brittney's story, advocated for her release, stood with her throughout this terrible ordeal. And I know that support meant a lot to her family. I'm glad to be able to say that Brittney's in good spirits. She's relieved to finally be heading home. And the fact remains that she's lost months of her life, experienced a needless trauma, and she deserves space, privacy, and time with her loved ones to recover and heal from her time being wrongfully detained. Brittney is an incomparable athlete, a two-time Olympic gold medalist for Team USA. She endured mistreatment and a show trial in Russia with characteristic grit and incredible dignity. She represents the best about America, just across the board, everything about her. She wrote to me back in July. She didn't ask for special treatment, even though we've been working on a release from the day one. She requested a simple quote, "Please don't forget about me and the other American detainees. Please do all you can to bring us home."
It's amazing. I was in court in August, I think it was, when the verdict was handed down to Brittney Griner. Her supposed crime, as you said, was carrying cartridges, vape cartridges containing cannabis oil in her hand luggage, which she said that she needed for medical purposes back in the States, and she just hadn't thought to check her luggage before she boarded the plane to Russia. Now, that is something you really have to do if that's the circumstance that you're in. You know, the judge was not lenient at all in the sentence that they handed down, 9.5 years for this misdemeanor, which people in Russia don't get for that kind of a drugs charge. But clearly the Americans have been working relentlessly to try and get her back, and that was achieved today, a prisoner swap for Viktor Bout. He's an interesting character. He's an arms dealer. You know, there was a Hollywood film made about him, in fact, which the Russians say is all not remotely true. But it sort of details his very flamboyant life, allegedly selling weapons to all and sundry and across Africa and across the world. He's been jailed in the States for 11 years, and the Americans have been wanting him back for a long time. His wife, Alla, is in St. Petersburg. Her daughter also hasn't seen her father for a very long time, so this will be a great day for them too. And in fact, the Human Rights Commissioner here in Russia has said that it is essentially a New Year's present for Russia, this prisoner exchange, as it is, of course, a Christmas present for Brittney Griner and her family and all of her fans.
So over the last 9 months, y'all have been so privy to one of the darkest moments of my life. And so today I'm just standing here overwhelmed with emotions, but the most important emotion that I have right now is just sincere gratitude for President Biden and his entire administration. He just mentioned this work is not easy, and it has not been. There's been so many hands involved. And so I'd like to take a moment to just specifically mention a few. Vice President Harris, Secretary Blinken, Jake Sullivan, Josh Geltzer, from the National Security Council, Roger Cartson and Fletcher, Schoen from the Hostage Envoy's Office. A special thank you to Governor Richardson and Mickey, the Mercury players, the WNBA PA for your advocacy. And also, you guys may not know this, but my family has been tremendously supported by the Wasserman Agency. BG's agent, Lindsay Colas, has just been amazing for me and my family throughout this process. So today my family is whole, but as you all are aware, there's so many other families who are not whole. And so BG's not here to say this, but I will gladly speak on her behalf and say that BG and I will remain committed to the work of getting every American home, including Paul, whose family is in our hearts today. As we celebrate BG being home, we do understand that there are still people out here who are enduring what I endured the last 9 months of missing tremendously their loved ones. So thank you, everybody, for your support. And today is just a happy day for me and my family. So I'm going to smile right now. Thank you.